And now?
Yes, that's great. If you could make it full screen, that would be, yeah, perfect. There we go.
Okay,
so
great.
yeah, please.
So, dear colleagues, I'm happy to participate in our meeting, in our days, and I would like to present the results of first year of investigation of bats and all fauna in the sacral architecture. And so we know, all of you know, the sacral architecture provides very appropriate condition for settlement of bats, especially bats and some other animals, because of different very favorable condition for these animals. So our investigation were conducted this year in June and July, mainly in a reproductive period. It was the churches and bell towns were investigated in the western part of Ukraine. You may see this area mainly low. We worked mainly in lowland, very close to the border, Poland, Slovakian and Hungarian and Romanian border. It's a very interesting area because it is influenced by the climate mass from Mediterranean. That's why Carpathian in this region are the border of different fauna types. Boreal from the north and Mediterranean from the south. That's why this region is very rich in bats, and not only bats, and different other animals and plants, of course. So, as I told, the investigation area is situated on the western part of Ukraine. It's called Transcarpathian region or Zakarpattia region in Ukrainian. The area belongs to the Tisa river catchment, which is the largest tributary of Danube. Mainly districts which are situated to the border have been investigated. So totally this year we investigated 104 sacral buildings. Sacral building, it means that bell town, very often bell town is separate from the building, and we decide, or we and in our investigation we noted, or we that bell town and church is one building, one location. So here you may see the area of investigation, these red points which show us the investigation localities. Each point it is one village, or like here, one village which has three appropriate for investigation charge. Because as you know, maybe you know that not all the charges are good for bad as a bad shelters, and we investigated mainly the charge of such type which has bell town and which has large attic. Some other charges have not any attics, and despite of bats inhabited there, sometimes it was very difficult to find them. Generally, in the Transcarpathian region, we counted about more as 200 churches, charges. That's why next year we will continue our investigation in other part of the area. Charges are very different. This is new, about 10 years. This have sorry this have about 500 years, and this despite of young or old, uh, uh, a lot of charges were inhabited by bats, especially by bats. So main method was visual inspection of attics first of all, and bell town as well, for using of some signs of bats and owls. And additional methods were using ultrasound detectors when sometimes when bats were non-visible, we may hear them by the detector, and as well a registration of bat guano and all pellets as a sign of at least attendance of bats of animals there. We noted all the place with guano and pellets, and when we not found the bats, we plan to visit these objects, these charges next year once again. So generally, we found 8 bat species in the charges. Uh, One of them was found just only died. It's Lecotus auritus. It's gray long-eared bat, and the bats were found in the more as 30% of investigated charges. So, list of species. The most interesting for us was Myotis emarginatus, Geoffroy bat. It was found just one colony, but well, the largest. It was more or less 1,200 bats there. It was maternity colony, and it was very. We were surprised with this record, because before this record, uh, it was known as the species was known in Ukraine as very rare, and it was counted one colony with 5 up to 8 individuals in Carpathian region, up to 200 in some case of Crimean half island. It was really excellent record with more than 1,000 females in one large attic. One more species, uh, very common in the attics, it is greater mouse-eared bat, Myotis. We found a lot of colonies. It was in the number. It was the second bat species with about 12% of all animals, all counted animals. The colonies were quite large, 100, 200, up to 300, in average 85. And it is very alike to find this colony, these colonies, because they are hanging quite free and large and noisy, and it was always satisfaction to find them. One more species, Cerutinibats, it was as well very common species in the charges. The colonies number of bats in colonies were lesser, but it was very often as well in churches, in crevices, in some other places as well. The colony are quite noisy, and it was light to find, easy to find them. Some other species, brown long-eared bat, Plecotus auritus, with a number of individuals up to 6, was very common in this period, and only one colony of each species, namely bronze bat and common pipistrelle, were found in the charts. You may see this bronze colony, and he's he's oh, sorry. This is the pipistrelle colony. Just one noctule bat was found. One specimen was found in the church. So number of bats. In this the diagram you may see all the animals which were counted. Half of them and occupied Myotis marginatus geoffrey bats. Without this diagram show us the number of bats without Myotis marginatus. You may see that the marginatus 13 bat and long-eared bat was almost the same number. So we investigated as well. I would like to show you record frequencies of inhabited localities. In the inhabited localities, it means here we noted only inhabited charges, and 13 bats and long-eared bat have almost the same number of localities, about 40. Very often they were found in the same charge. And no problem with this. And Myotis was in 13 of inhabited places, and it was very number. It has very large number, high number, but it was not. It was just third in the according to record frequencies. So we conducted our investigation as well in August, in October, this migration period, but it was found only brown long-eared bat. It was occupied the attics up to end of October. Other species disappeared much early from these places. So as I told, we registered as well fresh bat guano in the attics, and we found 12 location with fresh guano. We will examine them next year. You may see it seems to be very huge colony of some species. It was especially interesting for us to visit this place next year. So, one more bat species was noted during the investigation. It was noted not in church, but in the old building very close to church. It was greater horse shoya bat. It was as well very rare in Ukraine, especially in Carpathian region. We found the maternity colony with about 300 of females, and each of them had the young. It was very interesting because older records counted 10, 20, no more. But it was very interesting record for us. A lot of new knowledge about the distribution of bats and number of them. So, as well as I told, we looked for the signs of owls. We found just two owls, two owl species in the sacral architecture. One of them is barn owl, Tito alba. It was noted in 11, in approximately 10 locations, investigated locations. It was found old birds, as well young, which may already fly, or abandoned nest, just with a lot of pellets, and as well youngs, very 2-3 days young birds. So second birds or owl species was little owl. We found them only in 7 buildings. and just one nest. We found them only in 7 buildings according to pellets, a lot of pellets and so and some other signs, but we found just one nest of these species. So sacral buildings are very important for bats, especially for bats. They provide the variable futures for them, uh, especially large attics. They with low attendance, very different climatic, microclimatic conditions, and in large attics, the bats can move for looking appropriate temperature for surviving. So, range of other activities. We made and distributed the bed boxes like these and all boxes like these and these. We made two type of bed boxes and four types of all boxes. Two types for Tito Alba, for Barnaul, and two types for Little Owl. And by the way, uh, various activities concerning the eco-education. We published and plan to publish as well range of printed materials like leaflets, like posters for distribution them among the people. As well, we will organize some workshops for priests. Uh, for it was a very important in new condition in nowadays because all of people, not all people, a lot of people believe that COVID-19 is very connected with our bats and afraid and negative attitudes to them, and we devoted a lot of time and for eco-educational measures, especially with priests, because you know the main person in the church is priest, and a lot of it is, and protection of bats and birds is very influenced by these species, by these persons. Sorry. So we plan, as I told you, we plan to continue our research next year in other places, other churches, other in the mountain part of region as well. It was interesting to compare that distribution, species, composition, and number of bats in different elevation. So our research was supported by the any cross-border cooperation program together with Hungary, Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine. So I would like to thank my colleagues who joined me with my investigation. That they are Alexandr Bokotey, Leonid Pokrytyuk, Mikhailo Bilanich, and Oleg Supunenko. It is a very good team and very successful team for such investigations. So thank you for attention, and please your question.